Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. I hope that everyone's week is going great so far. I'll allow just a second to see if people continue to join, but to introduce myself, my name is Kate Sharp, and I'm a member of the customer success team here at Hawks. With me today is Jessica Charlton on the development team. The way that we plan to structure our time today is that I will just go ahead and jump into the instructor platform and give you a demonstration of all of our exciting updates. And then I'm going to turn it over to Jessica for a few minutes to talk about some of the rationale behind our updates, as well as some of the instructor feedback that led to these updates. And then we'll be sure to save time at the end to answer any questions. If you do have questions throughout the session, feel free to just type them in the Q&A box at the bottom of the screen. And as I mentioned, we'll save time at the end to get to them. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we can jump right into the updates. Jess, can you confirm you can see this okay? Great, awesome. All right, so here I am in my Hawks Teach account. The very first thing I wanted to show you all is the difference between the classic navigation and the new navigation. Right now I am in the new, but I did want to point out that there's this little button right here for go back to classic. If I click that, that will take you back to the original navigation view. But if you would like to try the new navigation, there is this try new navigation button right up here at the top. So if you click that, it will take you right into the new updates. If I click into a course here, the main difference is that we have moved our navigation menu over here to the left-hand side of the screen rather than it being at the top in the center of the screen with our classic navigation. We wanted to make our navigation more consistent with what you see in other areas, such as in your LMS, like Canvas or Blackboard with the left-hand navigation. Before I jump into anything else, I did also really quickly want to point out where you can go to toggle between instructor view and student view in the new nav. Up at the top of the screen, there is this little drop down beside the Hawks Teach button. If you click that drop down, that will allow you to really easily go back and forth between instructor view and student view. If you recall from the classic navigation, that used to be in the top right corner, and you would just select which button for which view you wanted to be in. It's the exact same functionality within the new navigation. It's just right here in this little drop down menu. I will say that we do really encourage everyone to try the new navigation. We've made a lot of updates that we are really excited about that we think will really streamline your course setup and management process. It will become our default view in the spring with the option to switch back to classic, but we do again encourage you to go ahead and try it out. We think that it will really improve your experience, and all the feedback we've received so far has been really positive. So the first area I wanted to point out the updates to is our Tools tab right here. So if you are a course administrator, you're going to see Manage Instructors and Manage Sections. This is an update from the classic navigation because before you used to see one area titled Manage Instructors/Sections. We've now broken that out to make things a lot more easy and seamless to navigate. Now, don't worry if you are not a course administrator, you will still just see Manage Sections as you did before. But within Manage Instructors, several different things to point out. First of all, we've tried to make the adding a new instructor process a lot simpler. There is the Add Instructor button up here in the top right. So to add an instructor, it is as simple as clicking that button. We have now only the necessary fields for you to fill out here. So to add an instructor, you would just type in their first and last name. So I'll just add myself here. You can choose the role of the instructor, whether they should be an instructor, a course administrator, or any of these other roles. You'll enter the email address for that instructor. and click save, and that will add the instructor to the course. Now, another thing that I wanted to point out is this save and add another button. This is new, and this should really help with efficiency for course administrators. If you do have multiple new instructors to add to your course, you can click save and add another. Oop, I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of Wi-Fi issues today, but you can click save and add another, and it would automatically add that instructor to your course and allow you to add a new instructor without having to exit out of the menu and click add instructor again. So again, just a little bit smoother functionality for course administrators. Another area that I wanted to point out is this filtering area. As a course administrator, you will see all instructors in the course. You can search for a particular instructor by name using the filter here. We also have these sorting and filtering options where you can filter by certain names or by certain roles in the course. You can also click on the headers here to sort in alphabetical order or sort by role. But once you are happy with your settings within Add Instructor, there are just a couple of other things I wanted to point out. Within this screen, we've also added inline editing. What I mean by that is rather than having to open up a whole other edit window, if there's a change you want to make, you can do so directly from this menu. So if there's a spelling mistake, you can, for example, just click right into the instructor's name to change it. You can also change an instructor's role directly from the screen, update their email address, or make any of those other changes. Up here in the Actions tab, you can also, if you check the box next to an instructor, you can delete anything or send another course invitation email. So if you have added a new instructor to your course and they've lost the email with their invitation, you can resend that very easily. But after you've added instructors to your course, you can just exit out of this tab. And the next area I wanted to go through is Manage Sections. We've made a lot of exciting updates to improve efficiency with adding and managing sections as well. So again, as a course administrator, you will see everyone's sections. So all of the instructors in your course and all of their sections. If you are not a course administrator, you'll just see your own sections listed here. So to add a section, very similar to add instructors, we have the add section button up here in the top right. If you click Add Section, you'll be able to choose, again, just the necessary information to fill out to add sections to the course. So you can just choose who the owner is. You can create the name of the section. So I'm just going to add one here and name it Webinar Section. You'll just choose the start and end date. So let's just say today is my first day of class, and let's say December 9th is my last day of class. You have the option to enter meeting times if you want to. So for example, let's say Tuesday, Thursday, 8 a.m. And you can click save to add it to the section list. Again, we also have implemented that save and add another button. So if you have multiple sections to add, you can click that to continue adding sections rather than having to do it individually each time. A few other things to point out within the Manage Sections area is that you can also now filter on this area as well. So as a course administrator, these lists of sections can get pretty long. If you're looking for one in particular, you can search with the search bar to filter by a list of sections. You can also filter by a section start date or end date range. You can also filter by section owners. Similar to the Add Instructors page, you can also click the headers at the top of the screen to sort. So for example, if you wanted to sort by start date, you could very easily just click start date, and the ones that start most recently will be right there at the top for you. Also on this page, we have enabled the inline editing. So just like with Manage Instructors, if there is a name issue you want to correct, you can really easily type that in. All you have to do is click into the field, make your edit, and once you click out of it, it will automatically save it. Same goes for start and end date or any of these fields. And you can also adjust the visibility of the sections. Now, if you're wondering what the differences are in the visibility options, if you hover over the little question mark right here, it will tell you. Shown means it is shown and available to everyone, instructors and students. Hidden means that it is hidden from students, but you as the instructor can see it, and inactive just hides it from you and students within the platform. Another really exciting feature within the Manage Sections area is our new Actions button. This will allow you to take a lot of actions or make edits to a specific section. So just to show you what I mean by that, if I select a section here and click Actions, there are several different options. First of all, within Advanced Settings, we have gone ahead and pre-selected the Hawks best practices for you. So rather than you having to remember to check these little boxes, they are just they are checked by default, and you have the option to make any adjustments from there. Within advanced section settings, you can also adjust the time of day that lessons are due. By default, it's always 11:59 p.m. in whatever time zone you are located, but feel free to change that if you would like. Also within the Actions tab, you can update the visibility of a section. Again, you can do that inline directly from this menu over here, but you can choose to update the visibility for a section there as well. Moving on to configure sections, this is the way that you can copy out all of the settings from a section to another. This is really useful for course administrators because say that you want to copy out the settings from the master section you have built to all adjunct sections. You can do that within configure sections, or say you're not an admin, you're just an instructor and you like the way that your course ran last semester, you can use configure sections to copy the settings from last semester to this semester. So just to show you that, if I click on configure sections, you will just choose the section that you want to apply settings from. So let's just say I want to apply the settings from Hawks 101 to this example course. You also have the option to select multiple. So again, if you are a course administrator and you select your master section to apply from, you can push it out to all of your adjunct sections. But to do that, you would just, again, select the section to apply from, the section to apply to, and click Apply Settings. You can choose to override these existing settings if you would like to, but by default, you'll just want to choose what to apply from, what to apply to, and add settings, or apply settings. If you'd like to see what all is going to be copied, it's lesson due dates, quizzes and tests, other assignments, course materials, curriculum, and student to-do list. Also within the actions area, we have the option added to remove LMS links here. This is an update from the classic navigation. In the old navigation, to break a link between your Hawks section and your LMS, again, meaning Canvas, Blackboard, Moodle, Brightspace, you would have to go back to the Tools tab, and there was a separate area for removing those links. We have streamlined it and made it a lot easier by adding this button right here for you. So for example, if my section here, you can see it is linked to a Hawks 101 course. Maybe that's my course from last semester in Canvas and I want to break that link. You would again just select the section, go to Actions, remove LMS links. I want to confirm, yes, and now that link is broken. So really simple, easy way to do that right there. Lastly, within the Actions tab, we also have the Manage Facilitators area. This is where you can add an additional instructor to your course. So say that you're co-teaching a course or you want to add your teaching assistant to your course. If you click on Manage Facilitators, you can select from the list of instructors who you want to add to your course and just click Submit, and that would then give them access to your course as well. So I believe those were the highlights I wanted to cover for managed sections. So if I exit out of this tab, the next main area I wanted to show you some updates to is within reports. So I'm really quickly going to switch the course I'm in so that I have some data to show you. So moving on to the reports tab, I first wanted to point out the export grades area. Now, if you would like to have a copy of your grades, rather than going to the old navigation's archive grade books, you can take essentially what is an archive right here from export grades. So all you would need to do is select your section and your students, or you could filter this as you see fit. You can adjust what all is going to be exported, but you can choose how you want it exported as well. You can export it as an Excel file, CSV, several different options, and click submit, and it will automatically take an export for you of your student grades. From there, you can save it, as an Excel file or as a CSV file, whatever you chose, to your computer. So that way you can easily go back and reference it if you ever need to, rather than having to wait for the archive to load to take an export, or to take an archive, or if you ever want to review that data, you no longer have to wait for that archive to load up. You can just instantaneously take the export, save it on your computer, and reference that at any time. If I exit out of this tab, I also wanted to show you some updates to our All Student Scores report. So if you click into All Student Scores, again, you'll just select your section. I'm going to leave this blank to select all my students. The All Student Scores report is going to show you the same data you're used to in the classic navigation. However, what I did want to point out is that we've added an export button right here in the top right of the screen. So you can export your data directly from this report. It will export as a CSV file, again, for you to then save on your computer. But what I wanted to point out is that you can filter this data however you would like. And when you click export, it is going to export exactly what you're seeing on the page. So for example, if you didn't want to export all of the data for all of your students, you could instead uncheck students, and maybe you just want to export for 3 of your students. You can filter this data as you wish, click export, and that is what will be exported for you. Again, when you export a file, it will just go directly to your downloads folder, where you can then open it in whatever you wish. Excel, you could copy and paste into Microsoft Word, up to you. But again, the real benefit is that you can export immediately without having to wait, and you can immediately open those files and reference that data at any point. We have also added a button right here for our assignment reviewer report. If you're just on the reports tab, you can also, as usual, access assignment reviewer right here. But within All Student Scores, if you click assignment reviewer, it will also take you directly there for convenience. So that being said, I believe those are all of the main updates I plan to highlight today. I will turn it over to Jessica if she wants to talk a little bit about some of the rationale behind these updates, and if there's anything else in particular we wanted to cover. And then, as promised, we will address the Q&A.
Yeah, so I am so excited to be able to be here with you guys talking about these updates today. I'm a product manager, and what my job is to make sure that you have an excellent experience when you use our software. And I know at the beginning of the school year, you have so many things to do to get ready for your new courses, your new students. And the last thing that you need to do is spend a lot of time in our software setting up your courses. So the goal here, and my goal all the time when I work on the Instructor platform, is to make things faster for you, to make things easier for you, to make it easy to do our best practices so that you can have the most successful semester with the least amount of work up front. And to do that, to know what's going to help you and what's going to make your semester successful, I have to talk to you guys. So I've been in education for a long time, like 2 decades. But that doesn't make me an expert. You guys are the experts about what makes this software great and what makes a class successful. So in order to put these updates together, we spent a lot of time looking at the feedback that has been submitted over the years, and also meeting with instructors like you. We have a huge feedback system where every time you meet with somebody, either through our customer support or customer success, and you say, "Oh, this is so hard," or "Why is this so hard?" or "It would be better if it did this," or "I wish it did that." Whoever you are talking to on the phone, they write it down and they pass it along to me. And I go back and I look at all of those suggestions and see how can we solve the problems that you guys are having. And then once I figure out what problems we're going to solve, then I have meetings with you and say, "Hey, how would you fix this?" Or "This is our proposed solution. Do you like it?" And one thing we did with these updates is we actually were able to, throughout the process, meet with our Hawks faculty consultants several times, and with some schools that showed particular interest to see the updates. And while we were in the development process, have them try it and tell us what works for them and what doesn't work for them, and actually make changes based on what they say. And then we also meet with people inside Hawks who work with you every day. And they go through and they try it out and tell us, "I think this is going to be confusing for our customers. Let's change the wording." Or, "Let's make this default and not default." And so we spent a lot of time getting that feedback and making active changes so that we could give you the best experience possible. And this is not the end. We are going to continue to take that feedback. We're going to continue to meet with you guys, and we're going to continue to make updates to this process so that it is as smooth as possible. We are still working on these pages. We have 2 teams actively working on these pages right now. So you can expect more things to come in October and then again in December to make this process even better.
Thanks so much, Jess. Okay, I am looking at the Q&A here, and I'll just read some of these out, and then Jess, I may ask you to hop in on a couple of these. Let's see. Bethany asked, "Do I need to be a course administrator to allow another instructor to copy my course?" Can you direct her a bit on that one, Jess?
Yeah, so that functionality hasn't changed yet. We definitely recognize the need to change that, but we haven't been able to make that change yet. So currently, you have to be a course administrator to share your course shell with another instructor. But we have eliminated some steps for the course administrators to at least try and make that process a little bit easier. But it is on our radar, and we do want to get that for you guys.
Thanks. Great question. Okay, we also have a question. Can you export all the grades to see what is, I think that says completed? Yes, absolutely. So you can export directly from the all student scores report, as I mentioned, which will show you all of the students in your class and everything they've completed, assuming you haven't filtered it otherwise. Or you can also export directly from just the export grades button on the reports tab rather than going through the all student scores report.
Yeah, and if you have something really particular that you would like to export, you can change the settings and all student scores and really customize that report to show exactly what you want. And then when you hit that export button, it's going to give you what you see on the screen. So there's a lot more ways to kind of slice and dice your data right there in that report, and then have a nice CSV file that you can then, send to your administrator, put in your, cloud storage for posterity's sake.
Yes. Great. Okay. We also have a question. Will students be able to change the view between new and classic? And you can take that, Jess. I saw you.
Yeah. So students don't have a new view. This is only for instructors.
Yes. Great question, though. What do you recommend as an end date for courses? Is it the last day of classes or perhaps the date when grades are due? We typically see Honestly, we see a little bit of both, and the answer is really it's up to you. There's no hard and fast rule. Some people like to have it as the last day of class. Others like to extend it a few days to maybe the day before grades are due to give students a little extra leeway to complete their assignments. So honestly, it's personal preference. There's nothing, it won't hurt anything for you to extend it past the last day of class. Just know that whatever you choose as your end date is going to be the last day that students are allowed to turn in work, if that makes sense. Let's see. Does the delete button under the actions tab work the same as the old one? When you delete a section, do you also have the option to archive that section as well?
I'll take that one.
Yeah, okay.
That's a great question. So when that button is enabled, it will not work the same way. So what we recommend is that you go to all student scores report, or you go to export grades, you take that, capture that data that you need, save it at a place where you can access it without a Hawks login whenever you need it, and then go through and delete that section. We will, on our end, keep the data. So just like we, previously, if you deleted a section and then you were like, oh no, I didn't mean to do that, and we could go back and restore some things, we'll still have that same ability on the back end. The big difference is you won't have an archive in View Archives. So you can go and take your own data, save it exactly the way you want it, make it wherever you want to get it in whatever format works for you, and you can really customize and own that experience of what happens to your data now.
Thanks, Jess. Okay, we've got, if you copy a course, does the LMS automatically sync, or would the course you copied still need to be synced on the D2L page? Great question. It would still need to be synced on your D2L page. It will copy all of your Hawks settings for you if you do make a copy, but that will not apply to the LMS link. So that will need to be done individually. We also have, I am a course administrator, and I wanted to know if you're anticipating a tool where we can shift the dates on all web tests in the previous semester to the new semester like exists for the lessons.
That's awesome feedback. It is not the first time I've heard it. You are not alone in wanting this functionality. The real answer is not yet, but we do want to do that. So I wouldn't anticipate it coming anytime soon, but it is on our radar. We know how helpful it would be, and we want to be able to offer the same level of customization across our lessons and our web tests and other assignments, all of those things. Same.
Thanks. Let's see, what else have we got? Someone said when setting up sections, I would add a second email to the section, my email and the second instructor. Do I now need to enter those emails individually? I'm trying to think. Lori, did you mean you add a second email for the second instructor, like to give the other instructor access to the course? Because if so, what I think we would recommend instead would be to go to manage sections and then actions in that manage facilitators area, which I can show again if we have time. And that way you can just share the section with that instructor that way, if that makes sense. Jess, if you have any different feedback, feel free to pop in there.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. The managed facilitators is meant to kind of problem that you're solving by adding an additional email address to the course. And this isn't new functionality, but it was really, really, really hard to find before. So what we found is that a lot of people had creative solutions to allow this to happen. And it sounds like you also had a creative solution to get functionality that you wanted. So we were trying to make these things easier to find, more discoverable.
Yes. Okay, let's see. We have some other just feedback and comments in the Q&A, so thank you all for that. The last kind of real question I see in here is, I created a course, so I assumed I would be the course administrator. However, I don't see that I have that designation since manage instructors does not show up in my tools. I think my first question would be, are there other instructors teaching the course? Right, Jess? If you're the only one, it may not give all of those options. However, we can also take down your name in the school you're with, and we can ask your school's customer success specialist to check those settings and look into it for you. Because if you need to be a course administrator, we'll certainly get you to the right status. Um, Okay, right now I don't see any other questions in the chat. I just see again some nice feedback. Kevin had said it would be great to have a way to view the ebook without having to change views or log in as a student. We'll definitely take that feedback down and into consideration. But we'll give it a few more minutes. If anybody has any additional questions, please feel free to put them in there. But if not, thank you guys so much for your time and thank you for joining. We're really excited about all these updates we've rolled out, and we hope that it'll make your experience even better with Hawks. Thank you. I see some more comments and some more feedback rolling in. We really appreciate that. And we really appreciate all of you. Thank you. These comments are so nice. Okay, well, if that is everything, we will go ahead and shut it down for today, but we will have this recording sent out so you'll be able to go back and reference it. As always, if you have any questions or any functionality you're looking for, feel free to reach out to your school's designated customer success specialist. We're glad to help however we can, and we hope everyone has a great rest of their day.